Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town Board Work Session for October 13th. I'd ask everybody to please turn off cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices, and assisted listening devices are available for the hearing impaired. I'll ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. Agenda approval, I need to add an executive session, attorney consultation at the end of the meeting where no action will be taken.
I'd like to add traffic sign.
Anybody else?
I'd like to add Friends of Lewiston Library.
Library. Al, anything?
I know.
Can I get approve the agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
Give a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Abstract Council Memorial.
October 10/13/2022. I move to approve the regular abstract of claims numbered 22-02661 to 22-02836 and recommend payment in the amount of $313,240.36 plus a post audit of $13,003.75.
Second.
The motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the town board minutes for the public hearing and the regular town board meeting from 9/26.
Move for approval of the 9/26/2022 public hearing and regular town board meeting as printed.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business. Amend zoning for certain lands on Northridge from R1 to PUD. Councilman Myers.
Yep, I'd like to make a motion pertaining to the State Environmental Quality Review Act negative declaration and notice of determination of non-significance for LMK Planned Unit Development, Northridge Drive, SBL number 101.10-1-14. Whereas a proposed planned unit development located at Northridge Drive, SBL number 101.12-1-1.4, along with the local law changing the zoning of said parcel to accommodate the PUD, is being considered for approval by the town board. And whereas short environmental assessment form, EAF, Part 1 was submitted by the applicant, and Part 2 and 3 were completed by the town building inspector with a recommendation for a negative declaration. And whereas the town board has considered the project and reviewed it in light of the criteria set forth in seeker to determine, in order to determine whether the project will have a significant effect on the environment. Expansion to the current ridge view at Lewiston PUD. Such expansion to be located at North Ridge Drive, SBL number 101.12-1-1.4. And whereas the Town of Lewiston Town Board is considering the approval of such PUD, along with the local law changing the zoning of said parcel to accommodate the PUD. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lewiston has declared itself lead agency for the purposes of seeker review of the project and issued a negative declaration pursuing to seeker, and whereas the Town Board has previously approved the applicant's concept plan contingent on submitting a detailed plan, and whereas the town has reviewed applicant's detailed plan and has duly called for, noticed, and conducted a public hearing regarding said detailed plan, and whereas the town planning board has considered the detailed plan and recommends approval contingent on final engineering approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the Town of Lewiston hereby approves the applicant's detailed plan and incorporating said parcel into the larger PUD footprint, conditioned on final engineering approval from the town of Lewiston engineer being obtained prior to the issuance of any building permit.
And again, if that's a motion, I second it.
Motion is second. Any questions?
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
I think I'm going to allow you guys to vote first, and then I'll bring up an issue that Mr. Lane just brought up. So go forward with the motion, and then we may need to address a comment that I have.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. If you look at the first whereas clause, you'll note that the heading Northridge Drive SBL 101.10 in the heading, and then the first whereas clause for both resolutions addresses a 101.12. It's a different lot in the first whereas clause. So what I'm going to ask Mr. Myers to do is to add a friendly amendment to his two motions to indicate that whichever is the correct lot number with respect to our local law, that's the one that you're going to refer to, and we will amend this motion, this resolution to reflect the appropriate SBL.
Yeah, and then my motion is dictated by the attorney to check on that and use the appropriate SBL number.
Whichever the correct SBL number is, that's the one that you want in the resolution.
The friendly amendments don't need a second, do they?
No, I would do it. You'll go through it and vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And so that the record is clear, it's for both resolutions.
Both have the same problem.
Thank you.
Okay, and then thirdly, I'd like to make a motion to adopt local law 1 of 2022, approving the PUD at Northridge Drive as described in the text of the local law, and to direct the town engineer to take action to change the town zoning map accordingly.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have to do an individual vote or no? Local law?
Yeah, I would do a roll call vote on that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, roll call vote?
Mr. Geiger.
Yes.
Mr. Jacoby.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr.
Morial.
Morial, sorry.
Yes.
Supervisor Broderick.
Yes. So, also, for the court offices, so we have court office renovations. We have 3 bids to do the carpet in the court offices. We're waiting on a 3rd bid. The lowest bid is Meridian Rug at $10,300. I'd like to make a motion to award the contract to Meridian Rug at $10,300.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And as far as the special use permit at local auto, that will remain under old business. New business. Anything, Carol?
No, sir.
Nothing under new business. Department head statements. Chief?
Just to make the board aware, we did complete a training at Niagara University just the other day. It was the first one that we've been able to do there for an active shooter training. It was very successful. We met with their leadership afterwards, as far as the president and his staff and their response team, and it was very productive. They were very happy with the whole exercise. I would just also ask that everybody keep in their thoughts and prayers. There were 2 officers killed this morning in Bristol, Connecticut, and a 3rd one that was injured there. Apparently they were ambushed. What's more concerning about that is that makes 10 just this week throughout the country. So please just keep the law enforcement, especially if you know somebody, keep them in your thoughts and prayers as well. And just to apologize in case the board, I'll have to be leaving. I think we'll make it time, but I have to teach at 7, so if I get up and leave,
Yeah.
that's my excuse.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Deputy Supervisor Conrad, anything? Mitch Zano, anything? Dan Zano, anything? Jeff? Set? Bob Lannon? Okay. Melinda, Oleg.
Well, we're gonna talk about having van drivers. You want to do that now or later?
It's under your,
It's under my
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay, well, we can just talk about that this week at the senior center. On Monday, we're having a caregiver support group from 6 to 7:30. The third was the first one, which was, we had a couple people, which was pretty good for the first time. It's a good opportunity for people that are caring for a relative, loved one, kind of get together and, talk about what they're dealing with. And it's nice to have, people that have common, issues. Also, we're having a Halloween party, as we mentioned before, on Tuesday the 18th. So if anybody wants to get their costume on, come on in. We'll be judging the Halloween costume contest for the seniors, and I'm sure they would love each and every one of you to be there.
at what time?
11, if you come at 11, that would be good.
And that date again, I'm sorry.
18th,
The 18th.
next Tuesday.
And then, in addition to our regular numerous activities, which we've all saw in the newsletter, you can look at that or go on the LewistonSeniorCenter.com website and see what we have going on. On Thursday, we're having chili and apple crisp day. We're making chili and the seniors will be cutting up the apples and making apple crisp. Sounds like a fun day to stop in. So Fridays are usually always trivia. And we're into the Buffalo Bills apparently, so we always, celebrate that. So come on in. That's what we do.
Awesome. Thank you, Melinda.
Melinda, before you leave, introduce yourself to the Gazette reporter back there.
Oh,
To-
you know what? We had a big article.
Yes.
If everybody didn't see it, he did a lovely job on our 101-year-old Joe, the drumstick manufacturer. Did everyone see it? Yeah?
Excellent.
And also, there was another lady in the paper, Maureen was on the front page also of the newspaper. That was, but, yeah, so we had 2 people. And, yeah, I wasn't mentioned, but the awesomeness of the senior center was
That's a
Some people were
good one.
upset I wasn't mentioned, but I said, it's not about me, it's about the awesomeness of all that we do there.
Melinda's been having a hard time getting some announcements in the senior section.
But we're gonna work together. He's told me who to send it to, so that's all gonna change now.
Good. Thank you, Melinda.
You're welcome.
Kathy,
Hello.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Anything to add?
Yes, so this Saturday, just to remind everybody, we do have our first annual fall festival. We will be at Kiwanis Park from 1 to 5. We will have lots of pumpkins, hot chocolate, hot cider, lots of activities and events for the whole family.
Now, do you want people to sign up ahead of time, or can they just show up?
We're doing both. They can show up, or it'd be nice for them to sign up so we know they're coming, so we have enough for everybody. But I believe people have been signing up, and that if they would like to do our trunk or treat, we are taking car registration, so we still need some vehicles.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody have any questions for
What were the
Kathy?
hours?
1 to 5 on
And
Saturday.
to sign up, you just call a rec department, Kath?
You can go to our website,
Okay.
LewistonSports.com.
LewistonSports.com. Okay. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Ed, anything from the building office?
No, no report.
Okay. Supervisor Broderick, legal, anything else?
Another, we can report that we're making progress on closing on Stonehaven. That should be scheduled in the next several weeks as we have all of the shoes falling. We should be good to go with that.
And I spoke with the parties that be today, and we're shooting for 1 month from today.
Perfect. And that falls right in line with everybody else.
Yeah, so.
One thing that the town board has to consider, it's nothing that we have to discuss right now, but my understanding is that there are 2 septic systems on the property. One which I think you decided cumulatively to fill in. There's another one in the, I think it's an office building or a barracks building. It's what they refer to it as. We probably have to have somebody kind of chaperone us out there that shows exactly.
I'm going out there next week with the appraisal company and the former caretaker who's going to take us around. That was on my list.
Wonderful.
So
as we get closer, I'll let everybody else know.
okay, good. Thank you. Finance.
I have previously submitted 6 2022 budget revisions for the board and council members to review. I ask for your approval.
I talked to Jackie yesterday, and I moved for approval of the 6 budget revisions as printed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Bob, engineering, anything?
All square, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay. We have, Donna has asked us to approve a 2-year contract extension with Auctions International. So I would ask for a motion to continue our agreement, 2-year agreement with Auctions International, and for the supervisor to sign.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And a sewer credit for $122.70 for Joe
Silver rolling.
Silver
Silveroli. Yeah.
Rolling, 921 Upper Mountain Road. And Jeff, that meets the sewer agreement. So I'll ask for a motion to approve that.
Section.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Councilman Geiger.
As I drive up and down Ridge Road from the village out towards Town Hall, I've been noticing more and more cars driving on the shoulder of the road. When somebody is trying to make a left-hand turn, cars have chosen to go around them using the shoulder, and it's against the law. We have signs out here at this intersection cautioning people not to drive in the shoulders. I would like to have Donna send a letter to the DOT requesting that one sign be put outside the village of Lewiston on 104, somewhere around North Ridge, suggesting, cautioning the drivers about using the shoulder to drive on. I checked with the chief, he concurred, and I think that would be a benefit if New York State would so see it. Regretfully, those signs only do so much good. The best deterrent is to have a police car sitting along the way, but you can't have them out there all the time. So I would like to, do I need a motion for that, to have Donna write the said letter?
Yeah.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And we need to hire a van driver. Last week, the van driver that we hired withdrew his application. Linda would like to hire Ken Slugenhoff at $13.20 per hour, with the understanding will be adjusted as minimum wage goes up at the end of December. And Ken's starting date will be as soon as he gets his paperwork in and passes the physical.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And the third thing on the agenda for me is the ice rink. I have been, we all have been talking about the ice rink for well over a year as to what the future holds. And I commend the board for supporting the ice rink all these years. It's a true asset to the Lewiston community, but regretfully, I think it's reached its life expectancy. We have met with Ms. Zano from the Highway Department, Kathy C. from the Recreation. We've talked to board members, we've done some research, and there's a letter here from Kathy that I would like to read. Honorable board members of the Lewiston Town Board, after many years of operation, the ice rink has reached its life expectancy. There are a number of repairs that include coils and manifold replacement. We would also have to update the current ice skate equipment. This would cost approximately $50,000. Additionally, the current location of the ice rink is not finalized due to the approval from the Village of Lewiston. Our recommendation is not to operate the ice rink this winter due to the feasibility we are faced with. We are hopeful to operate a brand new ice rink for the winter of 2023 and bring back the joy the ice rink has brought to families for many years. Mitch, do you concur with that letter?
I do.
I've talked to Steve many times on this issue, and He's always said, Bill, feel free to move forward. Move forward. What can be done? Move forward. Well, I've moved forward and I've hit a roadblock. Basically, the ice rink has outlived its life expectancy. It's done. If we're gonna have an ice rink, we're gonna have to find a new solid location where we can leave it up permanently and not tear it down, put it up, tear it down, put it up. Basically doing that, shorten the life expectancy of the coils. So we're to the point, we're done. I'm gonna be disappointed. I know I'm gonna take flack from my granddaughter when she reads this in the paper tomorrow morning, but I'm a realist. I know when I've reached the end of the road and it's time to turn the page and move forward. So I asked Al, we don't need to have a resolution on this. It's an announcement that there will be no ice skating rink for the winter season of 2022-23. And unless a board member would like to offer something else, that's it.
Well, I just want to let everybody know, I spoke to Kathy yesterday, and she's talking to Niagara University about having maybe 2 nights a week a Lewiston skating night. We don't know what the charge would be. The equipment, part of the equipment that Bill read off in the letter is the ice skates themselves, the rental ice skates. They're shot, rusty, they've got some mold on them from storage. It would have been $50,000, that's the $50,000 just for the ice skates. And then last year when we put the rink up, the boards were in ill repair. There were some quick fixes with some duct tape. It wasn't safe, some kids got their hands cut, and it just wasn't a viable option to throw good money after bad. So unfortunately, we're going to take 1 year and kind of reassess, and maybe it might be just buying a whole new ice rink. And
I've put forth to Mitch and Kathy a charge that by March 1st of 2023, they come to us with a recommendation of location, surface, auxiliary equipment that's necessary so that we can move forward with securing recreation grants and greenway grants to have a facility that will be able to stay up throughout the year, and we don't have the extensive wear and tear of tearing it all down every year. That was one charge. Then the second charge was to find a location for Lewiston skate nights, and hopefully Niagara University will be our site. It's right here in Lewiston. The facilities up there are excellent. We would probably have to staff it a little bit ourselves for our own supervision, but they would sometimes have their own skate guards there. So Kathy's going to do that and get that into the works as soon as possible.
okay, thank you, Bill. Councilman Jacoby.
Nothing real important with the liaison report. You know, a couple of meetings, nothing of consequence. The Sanborn Fire Company would like to add a person to their roster, and that person is Michael Allen, A-L-L-E-N, and he lives on Joanne Drive in Sanborn. I need to make that as a motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And next I have a letter to read. It was addressed to Chief Frank Previtt. I, Joshua Salata, would like to formally resign from my position as police officer at the Town of Lewiston Police Department, effective today, September 28, 2022. I am resigning as I have conflicting scheduling with my other workplace. I am very thankful for the opportunity to serve this department. And I'd like to make a motion that we kind of sadly see him go, but it's a move forward for him, correct?
Yes. Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then lastly, we have next week on Wednesday, October 19th, Friends of the Lewiston Library are having a gathering at the library from 6 to 8. There's some appetizers, wine, champagne, desserts. It's $15 per person. And if you'd like, you can drop off the $15 ahead of time to check to the library itself. It's nice, it supports the Friends of the Library. They're all volunteers, everybody's getting rich out there. That's all I got.
And if you pay for it at the door, it's $20.
Okay. Councilman Moriallo?
That wasn't on my sheet.
Well, I got nothing on my sheet to report, but I'm working on getting lighting at the senior center for the parking lot at night. It's very dark, and we're going to be starting activities there. So I'm just waiting for a call back on that to see where we're at. And I'm going to look to get some new vehicles. I'm looking through grants. Tim Masters' department could use one. One of the vans we have here is get old. And we'll be looking to get a couple new cars to update our fleet. That's basically it right now.
Okay. Councilman Myers?
Yep, just a couple events from the Sanborn Historical Society and Farm Museum. On Saturday, October 22nd from 4 to 7, they're having their ham dinner. $15 for adults, children up to 12, $7, and kids 4 and under are free. And
What was that date?
Saturday, October 22nd, 4 to 7 p.m.
I'll drive, Bill.
Yeah.
And then just an announcement for regular meeting for the Sanborn Historical Society at the Farm Museum on October 25th at 7 p.m. with a special program, Taking a Peek at Pekin, presented by Anne Marie Linneberry from the Niagara County Historical History Center.
I highly recommend the ham dinner.
Oh, yes.
They have a German sauerkraut salad. It's phenomenal, Bill. It's a secret recipe, so I highly recommend it. So, okay, thank you. Okay, privilege of the floor, public concerns. Anybody wish to speak?
John Maria, 7163 Road. Got a couple of things. First off, doesn't Niagara University have open skating hours?
Yeah, they do, but we would sponsor it.
I understand what the town's talking about, what I'm saying. Don't they have open skating hours that anybody can go?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you don't get something that the town can do, you can at least tell people that, remind them that Niagara University has open skating hours and they can go up there, cost a few dollars, what it is today.
You're thinking right along our lines, but we want to make sure that we can confirm it and get it on our website, our Facebook, so that they know that it's a...
Correct. So going beyond what you're trying to do is to get something designated specific for
Yes.
residents. Next step would be, if that doesn't happen, remind everybody of the open skating that's available to them there. I think even up to High Park, there's that too. So it's been years ago since I did skating.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the points that I want to make.
To me, first, speak up a little bit.
This is not.
I can't hear you as clear as normal, so. The red light's on, but I don't hear you as
I'm
clear
going to
as...
step forward a little more.
No, that's perfect right there. Yeah.
Raise the mic up.
You know, there was a town of Lewiston resident that lived on a residential lot, and he put in a zoning request for a change. And that zoning request came here before the board. And what came out of that was, we don't rezone. Or was it, we can't rezone? Maybe it's, we won't rezone. Not quite sure. But anyhow, let's talk about Mr. Massaro's development, all right? That you guys approved tonight, I guess. Now, it was about a year ago that the residents on Ridge Road were invited to a public hearing about that development. Okay, now Mr. Massaro had worked for many months prior to that with the code enforcement, his own engineers and whatever, come up with this plan of his to separate part of his residential property off, okay, because that lot that it's on, there used to be a house there years ago. I don't know if people remember that. It was an old home that was gutted by fire and knocked the home down. The foundation is still there in the woods, I'm sure. Okay, but it's a big residential lot. So he wanted to separate part of that off in order to do his development. Now at the planning board meeting, the public hearing, okay, it got pretty heated exchange. Some of my neighbors are pretty violent when it comes to discussing these kind of things, all right? And nobody wanted it, okay? One of my neighbors actually came in with some pretty detailed information about densities in the town and overcrowding and all of that kind of stuff, all right, which I'm, you know, she had time to do that, I guess. But, you know, the point is that, you know, I think that group intimidated the planning board because what they did is they put it off till the next meeting. Let's not put off this vote until the next meeting. So at the next meeting, the neighbors came, a good portion of them, and it was voted upon to kick it up to you guys, okay? It's a normal process. So what happened then was when it first came before this board, and Mr. Massaro was here and was going to present, some of the neighbors were here, and you know, we spoke that we were against it. What happened was, you, Steve, asked Mr. Massaro if he could come in the next night and have a private presentation in your office on what he planned to do. So much for transparency, okay? So here we are now, we're down the road, what, almost a year. He's been anxious to get this approved. All of the neighbors are still against this, okay? And it got approved. So here's my point, okay? You cannot use the excuse that the neighbors are against something that a resident wants to do because you just proved that you will go forward, especially in a case with a developer, because it's generating tax dollars. So, again, all the neighbors don't want it, so we can't do it. Well, wait a minute, you just proved that by approving what you did tonight, that the neighbors' positions don't count. It's all about tax dollars. So, I expected it was going to be approved, okay? Let's make sure that we understand that that excuse of the neighbors don't want it can't be used as an excuse for not allowing a resident to try to do something in this town.
Okay, thank you very much.
And Robert, we are working on that list for your editor, okay?
Have a good night. So upcoming meetings, planning board, October 20th at 6:30 p.m. And our regular town board meeting will be on October 24th at 6 p.m. And ask for a motion to move to executive session with no action being taken, so we will not be coming back out.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Have a good night.